what's up, guys? This is Zach Selwyn, lead singer of Zachariah and the Lobos Riders and Country Linen. You are listening and watching the All Over the Place podcast where the fun sanity never ends. You know what it is, y'all.
Welcome back to All Over the Place, the official podcast of Media Pub Live. I'm your host, Eric Privosnik, and we got the whole gang with us tonight. Jim Culver, how you doing?
Doing excellent, sir. How about yourself?
Awesome. Marty Zamora back in the house. Martin, how are you? How are you, my friend?
Doing well, thank you.
Awesome. And Christine, wearing a Cubs jersey tonight, but that's okay. Love her still.
Hello. Thank you.
And before we get going, I want to throw out a thanks to our sponsor, Yasmin McGee over at XYZ Promotions. Don't forget, folks, for your promotional and printing needs, always go to www.xyzpromotions.com. Everything you need in promotions from A to XYZ. Thanks again, Yasmin, for being a sponsor here on All Over the Place. And tonight, folks, we have an athlete who is not associated with Penn State. I'm glad everyone's sitting down for this one. I know. We have, however, my other favorite kind of athlete, a baseball player with us, a veteran of the MLB, the show. Kameron Loe, welcome to All Over the Place. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Good to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
And Cam is a veteran of the Diamond. And also what he's now doing is he is the co-founder of Haloe Wellness. And also he is in charge of the Association of Professional Ball Players of America. Cameron, again, thanks for joining us here on All Over the Place. A baseball player. And folks, I've said it before on the show. I'll say it again. Irish, best storytellers. A very, very close second, a baseball player. So awesome to have you here with us, Cam.
Man, I wish I was an Irish baseball player right now. I'd tell you guys a real good story. But it's good to be here. I'll do my best.
Well, isn't everyone, and it doesn't necessarily have to be on March 17th. Everyone's a little bit Irish, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Fake it.
At least that's what I heard.
That's the word on the street. I'm not sure where that street is, but that's the word on it.
We're all Irish and you get a few Guinnesses in us. That's my story and I'm sticking to it.
I've never turned down a green beer.
There you go.
So, Cam, now the work that you do with the APBPA, and I'm only going to say that once, not going to try and do that twice.
It can be a mouthful. No, that was good.
I'd rather just say Association of Ball Players of America, but Professional Ball Players of America. So, big league career. Of course, you were drafted by the Rangers and enjoyed a nice, solid career. But then, what led you into where you are now, being in charge of the APBPA?
Man, sometimes I have to pinch myself, and it's crazy kind of how I got here. To be honest, I was asked to be on the board after. So back in 2018, I started a wellness center. It's all built around these amazing technologies that help people heal at an accelerated rate. It stimulates at a cellular level, and it relieves pain and just helps the body heal itself. And so I started treating guys and giving away free treatments to a bunch of the older guys that needed them. Would have some of the guys still playing come in and that were on the DL and they were coming back from injury super fast. And so through my efforts with just kind of giving away free sessions, they asked me to be on the board in 2019. And then in 2020, there was a little hiccup and obviously COVID hit. And we went through a little bit of turmoil. Unfortunately, we were kind of robbed. There was somebody that came in and ended up misappropriating a lot of funds. And this being COVID, there weren't a whole lot of eyes on it. But I started getting complaints from some of the other guys saying, "Hey, what's going on? I paid for my gold card, or I paid for my ring, I paid for, and I'm not getting any, this was a year ago and I haven't received it." And I got enough of those. And so I reached out to the rest of the board and I said, "Wait, I think we need to do a little internal investigation." And what we found was that somebody at the top was most definitely not doing things correctly. And so long story short, the Attorney General helped us out, got us all of our belongings and memorabilia and some of this incredible just pieces of Americana back into our possession, and we've rebuilt it. When I took over, we were negative $30,000, and we owed all these people, cards and rings and all this stuff and gear, and so we made all of that right, and now we are on our way back up, and we're doing some really, really cool things like starting our own youth camps and youth leagues and travel ball teams, and pain and wellness support, as well as monetary financial literacy support, and depression, and guys that are dealing with addiction, and just making this a huge support system for anybody in the baseball family. So it's we're on a great trajectory now.
And that's one thing I forgot to mention in your introduction, that you are the model of altruism and just being an extraordinary human being. And so to me, it makes perfect sense that you're working, and being in charge over there with the association. And it just ties so nicely in with Haloe Wellness.
Well,
And
I thank you so much for saying those kind words.
Well, you're someone who just wants to help each other, help us heal and just being good to each other. If I may steal a little line from Bill and
that's
Ted.
what it's about,
Yeah,
man. That's absolutely what it's about. I sometimes I sit and I think, or in conversation, I ask, if you had everything, if you had all this stuff, I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. If every building was yours and every car was yours and every, but there was nobody else but you, what would it matter? It doesn't matter. We're here for each other. We're here to help each other. I believe that, we were made in God's image, and somebody asked me what that meant one day. And I said, I believe we're creators and lovers, and we are supposed to create things that help others. And the great Jackie Robinson, I think, has one of the greatest quotes of all time. And that is, a life has no value other than the impact it has on other lives. And I think that's one of the wisest and most beautiful quotes that ever was. And he exemplified that.
Absolutely. And just going back to that golden rule from some guy I remember from some book called the Bible.
He's got some good ones too.
He's got a few. Yeah. So it's and it's nice to see, in a sport that, as far as I'm concerned, no matter what's going on, baseball will remain America's pastime. I know football's popular, I know basketball's popular, but baseball, to me, as goes America, goes baseball, and vice versa.
Yeah. Baseball has been it has so many learning lessons. It has so many life lessons within it, and it's a different type of fan. And some of the rule changes that they've made to make things more offensive or to speed the game up, and to I hope they don't try to market to the short attention span person, because it's not what baseball is a chess game. Baseball is a cerebral game, and it's about repetition. It's it's about reading your opponent, because you're going to face them 37 times. When it's the 27th time that you faced Albert Pujols that year, and he knows everything that you got, everything that he's got, and how it becomes a chess game at that point. And it's just, everything from the sacrifice bunt, giving up of yourself to help the team, and the sacrifice fly, and it's not a single guy sport. You can't just win a World Series with having one great player. And
Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb hit all the live long, David. They're nothing without what? Team.
That's right.
I'll drop a little David Mamet from the Untouchables wherever I can with that one. And Christine, you told me I'd like this guy, but I don't. Not marketing to the short attention span crowd. Thank you, Kameron. You're welcome on All Over the Place anytime.
It's good to be amongst my people.
Speaking his language, that's for sure. Yeah. But let's can we get a little bit into what Haloe Wellness does? Tell us what AccuScope and MyoPulse pH management, nanocurrent systems. Those are a lot of really big words. Like
They are. I had to.
what
Yeah, it's
exactly
been
does it do?
years. I have the skill set of a relief pitcher as well as the vernacular. So, it took me a while to just be able to read those words, but they're incredible pieces of equipment that they deliver a very specific frequency. We are the mainstream is now even learning that everything is frequency, that that we all hold a certain resonance or a frequency, as well as your cells hold a certain resonance or a frequency, and a healthy cell holds a different resonance than an unhealthy cell. And so these machines with computers inside of them that are basically AI, they do learn as they treat. They are reading you. You hook up the plates or the probes or the electrodes with a little bit of gel, kind of like an ultrasound, and then the machine sends a current into the body, very, very light. You almost don't feel it, and it's scanning and seeking for anything that doesn't resonate properly with where the body should be, and then it sends a frequency for that to help the body come to balance. And so it's just continually asking the body what it wants. A lot of people are familiar with a laser or a stim unit or an ultrasound, or you've gone to your chiropractor, they put the sticky pads on you and your muscles start to thump like that. That's a one-way modality, so that is going to give the same thing to everybody. It's just kind of a one-size-fits-all kind of thing, whereas these machines are asking your body, what frequency would you like? And it's the difference of a piano sitting there, and you can walk up to that piano and you could pound it with your fists and get a sound out of it, or you can have Elton John sit there and he can ask you, what's your favorite song, would you like me to play it? And that's kind of the difference in these devices versus almost everything else out there, is it's asking before it delivers. And it just stimulates the cells in a very precise way to get them to open up, expel toxins, bring in nutrients, and you heal yourself at an accelerated rate.
So is this for exclusively for pain management, or does it actually help to heal injury?
So the FDA allows us to say only certain things. We like to say that we are helping you with your pain, and when your pain goes away and stays away without any drugs or any more treatments, you can tell me what happened.
I like it. Where do I sign up?
Scottsdale, Arizona right now. We're working on spreading out, but yeah. Actually, if you're in Riverside area, is that right?
Yeah.
I've got a doctor that in people that can't make it out here to Scottsdale that are in the Southern California area. He's in Burbank, and I can give you his number after the show.
Great. That's like an hour. That's definitely doable.
Cool. He's amazing. He's a chiropractor. He's been using these machines in his practice for 30 years, and he's great.
Would you say that Haloe is geared mainly toward athletes dealing with pain issues, or is it something that can be used by just about anyone with chronic pain?
Anybody, absolutely anybody. We have helped 9-month-old babies, and we are actually in the largest senior living center here in Arizona, helping old folks with neuropathy, with headaches, migraines, digestive issues, arthritis, you name it. It just really, it helps to balance the body. We bring all these toxins in constantly with water and food and air, and they're everywhere. And we want to eat antioxidants so that we can detox and remove the toxins. And so that's it helps to bring the body to balance, so it knows how to release the garbage and how to come back to homeostasis.
And that you actually got into this because you used it yourself when you were still in the MLB, right?
I did. It saved my career. That's how I fell in love with it, for sure. When I was 27 years old playing for the Rangers, 1 of the most important things that you can do is to get your body to balance. And on a cold morning in Cleveland, I was throwing a bullpen at about 10 a.m. and I didn't stretch well enough and I didn't warm up well enough, and something popped in my back, and it was a herniation on the left side between L4 and L5. And I threw the pitch and it got about halfway to the catcher, and I gave him one of these and started walking back to the clubhouse, and I just started leaning over farther and farther, as I was walking, and until I walked around crooked for about 2.5 years, and taking all kinds of pain meds and anything that anybody would give me so that I could make it through an inning. And doctors were saying we can solder off the nerve or perform a laminectomy, which is basically they're cutting off your disc, or one guy even said fuse your spine, and I was like, nobody's cutting anything, and so I gritted my teeth for about 2.5 years and kind of was at my wit's end, and found this technology by the grace of God. Another guy called me, and it was during spring training in 2010. I had just gotten a job with the Brewers, came back from Japan, and my first treatment, 60% of my pain was gone. And I had sciatic nerve pain running from basically my lower back all the way down to my left ankle, and about 60-70% of that was gone. My hips were able to fire again. And what really blew me away was I had been shot with cortisone twice in the elbow right here. I had turned over a sinker too hard and kind of injured the lining of the joint there. And so they shot me a couple times and irritated me for 2 years. And they put one electrode right here and one right here, sat there for 30 minutes. And that old cortisone that was sitting in my elbow wiggled up out of my skin and made it like basically 2 zits on my skin and oxidized what was the old cortisone that had been sitting in there rubbing in my joint every pitch. My arm never hurt again. And my velocity went up from about 89 back to 94 miles an hour in like 48 hours. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, how does everybody not know about this stuff? And there's some what's that?
So your initial relief happens potentially pretty quickly.
It's very quick. It is, sometimes there's people where they will have suffered with pain for, years, tried everything, gone to doctors, took pain pills, had cortisone shots, had surgeries, had all this. And in like 3 40-minute sessions, they're walking around going, their knee pain is gone and not coming back. It sounds too good to be true, but I tried it all. I tried it all. I was in the big leagues with a hurt, with a hurt back and an elbow, traveling around the entire country. Every city I went to, I would go to the best chiropractor or the best naturopath or the best PT I'm trying to find my way back to being a solid big league pitcher again. And so I scoured, I went to Japan, I went to Mexico, I went all over the place, and there's nothing like this thing. That when it comes to soft tissue regeneration and detoxification and removing pain, these devices are second to none. And so my brother and I, we just dove into them and learned how to use them, developed protocols. We've developed protocols specifically for like scapula, and because for a pitcher, that's like so much of what protects your shoulder and protects everything else down the arm. And and then we just made a business out of it because it's non-invasive and drug-free, and we are able to help people heal it. And a lot of these people come when they haven't had any hope, and it's fun to be able to give people hope.
And another reason why you and I are going to get along famously, Cam, you said velocity instead of velo. Thank you.
I'm old school, man. I got the grades.
We are classic. So, but the kids are using velo now, and one thing that I'm, as a youth through high school and a little bit of college umpiring, what breaks my heart is seeing high school kids already having their second Tommy John surgery. Mm-hmm. How can stuff at Haloe Wellness help with stuff like that? And actually, how many younger kids do you have coming in the high school age?
That's actually something that we're working on. I've got a buddy here in town that's very connected with a lot of the athletic directors around for the public schools, and so we're really going to be making a marketing push to these kids and their parents, because it's amazingly safe for the kids, and it helps them avoid drugs, and even Advil. You don't want to take too much of that, and so that we have a number of little young athletes come in. Most of our target market is pro athletes, as well as weekend warriors, as well as it's pretty much anybody that's just dealing with pain. But yeah, it's almost hard to have a target market with this stuff, because it's safe for everybody, and it's in the 95 to 97 percentile that we are going to be able to help you with your pain. I think it's the best kept secret in medicine. These things they got their what's called a 510K FDA clearance in 1978. They started making these things, and as computers got faster, the devices got smarter and got better and got more efficient, and the new ones are just absolutely out of this world. And then we put a whole bunch of different things around it: oxygen therapy and other electromagnetic therapy, and red light and infrared light, and some of the meta therapy stuff that we have it's like Star Trek stuff. It's kind of crazy. But the future is really, really exciting when it comes to health and wellness and true healing. A lot of it has just been blocked from the general public because of insurance, American Medical Association, FDA, hospitals, big pharma. They've got a system. They own most of our medical system, and but it's all about just letting people know that this is available for them, that it's here, and they can avoid the drugs and avoid the surgery in a lot of cases.
Come on, they wouldn't lie to us.
Yeah.
We're not going to get Cam in trouble, Marty. We're good. We understand.
We'll move on from that.
I was disagreeing with them.
And I will say the Western medical system, it does some amazing things. The trauma care, what we're able to do. If you fall off a house, don't come to Haloe. Hang up and dial 911. And then when you want to come back from surgery after you had the surgery, then come to us. And if you want to stay well, come to us. If you want, that kind of stuff. But we do amazing things in Western medicine. We just need to combine the two. The wellness and the trauma care need to come together to have the best of both worlds.
Well, you'll be seeing me at some point, because I always joke, the day I can't throw a ball back to the pitcher that's 60 feet 6 inches, just put me 6 feet under. And I've got to remember, I blew up my rotator in my late 30s, and I've got to remember to throw 3/4 or half now. So if I can get that full range of motion back, definitely going to be seeing you in the next couple of years.
I'll send you some stuff where, we get people that can't lift their arm above here, and then after their first, second session, they're up here, and we've got some pretty cool stuff for you. Love to help you out.
You mentioned that some of Haloe's techniques utilize AI, which is always an interesting discussion topic these days, because AI is kind of having a moment right now with all these new technologies coming out. There's a lot of fear about it. You've obviously got people on strike out of fear that they're going to be replaced by it. So kind of what's your take on it, big picture, as far as the AIs that you use and kind of how you feel about the technology in general?
I think it's like a sword. I think it can be used for defense, offense, and it depends on whose hands it's in. I think it's it can be an amazing tool. I think it can be a very destructive tool, and we're probably going to have some pretty good regulations on it going forward. But I think a lot of people don't understand how long we've had AI, and with working with these devices, I've gotten to know some pretty cool people. Some high-ranking people in the military, and one guy was head of AI for the Pentagon in the 1980s. Mm-hmm. And people don't realize, we're just talking about AI in the last 5 years, really, and now people are using ChatGPT and writing books in 3 minutes. And but they had AI in the SR-71 Blackbird, and that was built in the 70s. And so if they had it in the Blackbird in the 70s, that means they were developing it in the 50s and the 60s. And I mean, it's been around for a long, long time. We're just now getting to use it in the general public, though. And
Right.
so, yeah, I think it's really exciting. I think in these machines, it's extremely exciting. The fact that it's able to precisely deliver what your body is asking for and learn as it's treating you is just really, really cool. But I think it definitely scares me a little bit. I won't download ChatGPT onto my computer. I honestly don't want to have it looking at my stuff. So I'm a little bit scared.
I've used it. It's scary.
Yeah.
It's amazing, but it's a little creepy.
Yeah, I think people also need to remember that somebody programmed that, and it may be some kind of bias in what the AI, picks up and how it picks it up and what it's looking for. So I hope that as we move forward with it, we can, we the people get to decide, what the regulations are on it, and so that we're protected and it doesn't get used as a weapon of mass confusion.
Hope it's not too late.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the coming years are going to get we're going to see some pretty cool stuff. I think some scary stuff, some cool stuff, but it's a cool time to be alive.
Yeah. As you said, it had been around for a long time, but it was not really in the public consciousness except in like sci-fi and fictional. And then all of a sudden it was this reality staring us in the face. And I think a lot of people were just not able to wrap their heads around something that had been they'd seen as science fiction for so long suddenly become historic reality as part of our technology. And so it was I think we're kind of catching up to that mentally and emotionally, but it's going to take a little while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I think about AI, and I think about how long they've had it, and I think about how we're just now getting to use it. And then I think about, okay, what do they have today that they're going to show us in 30, 40 years?
Maybe it's those flying cars we were promised.
Yeah, where are those at?
That beat gravity first.
Yes. Broken promises. Thank you, Back to the Future. Thanks a whole lot. Appreciate that.
By the way,
Later, come on.
They did predict the Cubs winning the World Series, though, didn't they? Wasn't there something in there about the Cubs winning the World Series and Back to the Future 2?
I do remember
like that. I'm pretty sure no one believed it, though.
AI. I remember Hal, and I remember Rosie the Maid, and that was a long time ago.
And as brought up on not one but two shows in our threefers, war games and the Whopper and global thermonuclear war. Just play a game of chess. And as an umpire, and I want to get your take on this. And if this gets you in trouble with the association, I will take the Fifth Amendment on this one. But as an umpire, I know that we are a lot of organizations want to have the robo-ump behind the plate, taking the human element out of just balls and strikes, and then maybe outs and safes and whatnot. What's your take on robo-umps, calling the balls and strikes, and especially as a pitcher? What's your take on that?
I think a computer can be hacked, and if the robo-umps are in control, I think there's still the ability for people to manipulate how the robo-umps are calling the game. And I think there is always going to be some kind of human error, whether you like it or not, because I like the umps. I like the physical human umps. I don't know.
I like pitchers too.
Yeah.
A lot of love in this room.
There we go.
Yeah.
When did I ever think about that? Could be hacked. So that's how the Yankees will win their next one. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Or pick your team. I won't pick on anyone in particular.
Who's watching the watchers? You know what I mean?
Ooh. Sci-fi. I love this.
That's right.
Going back to your playing days, though, what was the moment where, after that, the baseball was first put in your hand? And when did you know this is what I want to do? And then again, after that, when did you know you were capable of going to the show?
Probably my junior year of high school, I started to, my body started to mature. I started to throw a little bit faster. I was hitting, mid 80s as a junior. And then my senior year, I was hitting 90 and 91. And probably right around that time, I started to really take it seriously, and people started to tell me I might have what it takes. And but I've growing up, I played all kinds of sports, and I didn't really particularly. I loved baseball. I loved being on the field. I loved my teammates. I wouldn't say I was a great baseball player as a kid, though. And then somebody taught me how to throw a sinker and a slider. And at 11 years old, and I started striking out the league, and I was like, man, this is fun. And so that's when I really started to love baseball, is when I started to pitch. And so I think my junior, senior year, I started to really take it seriously, and, make it, make my days revolve around, baseball, what I ate, how I worked out, who I hung out with, and what my, thought process was. And, and then, I decided to go to college, and didn't have that great of a college career, other than winning the Big West.
Okay.
Not it.
Yeah. In 2002, we won the Big West, and that was amazing. But personal stats, I wasn't wasn't incredible by any means, but I still got drafted. And I remember the draft day. I thought I'd go a little bit higher, and I went 20th round. I was 20 years old, and they gave me $20,000. And I told my mom, I said, they wake up and throw $20,000 out the window. So I got to go make myself undeniable. And, just got in the weight room and started reading everything I could on the mental side of baseball. And I think that's probably what did it for me, was focusing on my head. And, it's the old Yogi Berra adage, that's baseball's 90% mental and the other half is physical. And, I think I really took it to heart. So.
The world would be a lot better place if they would just pay attention to more yogiisms. I'm convinced.
No kidding.
Of that.
No kidding. Yeah.
Combine that with a little of that pseudo Zen from Bill Lee, and I think things are going to be. The world will revolve a little bit better, a little more nicely.
I agree. I think I'm going to have some more yogi T-shirts made. I think it just brings joy into the world.
And what was it like for you, your first trip onto the field, being in, as they mentioned in Bull Durham, stepping onto the cathedral known as the Big League Field? What was that feeling like?
My legs were shaking. I definitely remember my first time coming out of the bullpen in 2004, and my back leg, I was in the stretch position, and my back leg would not stop shaking, and I had a good inning. Or actually, I think I pitched 2 1/3 or 2 2/3 innings. The only hit I gave up was to Ichiro, and it was his number 250th hit the year that he hit 273. And so that was kind of interesting. The very first hit I gave up in the big leagues, they stopped the game and got the ball, and I was like, oh, hopefully this doesn't happen every time, But
there's no shame in giving up a hit to Ichiro.
No, yeah, I figured if everybody's going to give up a hit eventually, so it might as well be the first one to him. So.
Well, you mentioned the chess matches earlier, and you brought up Albert Pujols, but who was your favorite chess match? Well, which hitter did you get the best of, and then which hitter kind of had your number?
So Pujols was definitely one of the big names that I did very well against. Big Papi was another one that I did really, really well against. There was a couple guys. Mauer. No, I'm sorry, Justin Morneau. Justin Morneau
okay.
would just hit 2 irons off and it just crushed me. Raul Ibanez had my number. I mean, he would just bang balls off the left, left center field fence, and I mean, I couldn't stop the guy from getting the double. I mean, he just barreled everything. I would say that probably the most adrenaline that I would ever get when facing somebody was Vladimir Guerrero. And he hit me in the head one time. And that was probably why I got those adrenaline rushes. Because I threw a sinker down and away to him, and he got those long arms extended and hit it back at me at about 100 miles an hour. And I had enough time to just turn my head a little bit, and it hit me. I used to wear my hat real low. It hit me right on the bill and right on the cheekbone right there. And Michael Young caught it at shortstop above his head for an out. And this was in Anaheim, my first start in Anaheim, and I had like my whole family was there, and like 20 of my friends, to see me get smoked in the head by Vladdy Guerrero.
And just so people know that a ricochet off of a pitcher is a legal catch, as long as it is the next thing. All right, had to get a little umpiry there in case people got confused. But a ricochet off of someone, that's a hit. No.
Nope.
All this useless and sometimes useful knowledge.
So did you go down?
I didn't. I went to a squat, but I didn't go down to a knee. And unfortunately, I got taken out of the game. I wanted to stay in. I was fine. I had a bruise for the next few days, but I was winning 2-1 in the 5th inning. And it was actually the ninth consecutive out I had recorded. And so I was bummed. I was like, they were trying to pull me off, and I was like, no, I don't want to go. And they're like, look, we got to go get you a CAT scan.
Oh yeah, that's the move. I'm staying.
Yeah.
Well, they stopped the game. Did you get the ball like they stopped the game for Ichiro for your 9th consecutive out?
They should have, huh? Yeah. No.
Victories are victories nonetheless.
I remember them replaying it on the scoreboard while the trainers are checking me out, and just hearing the crowd go, oh.
See, and that's old school generational. You get up, you rub dirt on your temple, you want to move on. You just keep playing.
I was fine.
Exactly.
Yeah. You don't need your whole brain or both your eyes for the pitch anyway. So
I'm not gonna comment on that at all of a baseball player. Don't need the brains. Don't need that. Just gonna leave that one alone.
There's a saying in my house: it was just my head, nothing vital.
That's right. Yeah. As long as I can still use my right arm, everything is fine.
Plus, it missed the moneymaker.
Yeah. Man, that thing never made any money for me.
And you mentioned being able to. Oh, sorry, brain fart on that one. And that's not a good host right there, folks. We're going to fix that one in post.
38:45.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
And
your crap.
My mistake was I may be able to recover off this one.
Cam. He lost his.
I know. I lost him on that one.
He lost his video.
He was like, "Be prepared, sir. Goodbye."
Whoops. Stepped in that one. All right.
Hopefully he can reconnect.
Yeah.
Or maybe an asteroid hit Scottsdale. Did you feel anything?
I didn't hear any rumbles or anything. No.
No, not yet. Anyway, we could have some ripple effect.
Wave hasn't hit us yet.
Right. Well, I'm I was going to head into the wrapping up the down turn things on this stuff. Did anybody else have anything else?
I booted him, and hopefully he'll reconnect.
Okay. Well, like I said, 38:45. I'm going to mark that down. We'll start fixing from there.
Yeah, that was the main questions I had for him.
Okay. Well, I do like it, the whole God-given right to free speech, and there we go.
Hey, sorry about that, guys. I'm back. My computer decided it didn't want to work anymore.
Okay.
Well, which coincided nicely with me not being able to work very, very effectively. So yeah, So self-deprecation meet the computer world. So yeah.
Jim, did you have a question you wanted to ask him?
Well, you seem pretty happy where you are, so I'm not going to ask if you want to come back to the Mariners because we could use the help. But
you know what? The one place I do want to go is the Savannah Bananas. I want to go play for like a game or two with the Savannah Bananas. That
How
sounds
fun would that be, right? Like you get to
yeah.
learn to dance. Like
it seems so.
Moves.
My kids want me to do it. You know, my wife. You know, she's like, yeah, that would be awesome. So I am probably going to get my arm back in shape just to go play with the Savannah Bananas for a couple of games.
And I would love to ump with those guys because I was early in my umping career. They said, you know, your strike three call. That's your time to shine, do something unique. And I got my little James Brown move, a little slide to the left, kick it back. And they said, oh, no, it's not about you. Well, make up your mind. Which one is it? With the Savannah Bananas, I can do that.
Yeah, and more.
And one of my favorite guys, Eric Burns, works a lot with the Savannah Bananas, and he and I have had some good conversations over the years. Some little Twitter conversations with. He's a big proponent of the RoboUmp, and Cameron, I want to use your. Well, what if somebody hacks it? I never thought to throw that at him.
Yeah, if it's computer, if it's all being taken over by computers, then you better have some good spyware. You might have people in Vegas, with a supercomputer trying to hack into that laser system.
Marty, we're heading down your road right now with all these theories.
Well, you mentioned Vegas. Imagine the prop bets that you could win. I bet the count's we're gonna go to 0-2 here. Boom! Oh, look at that! I want a little prop bet because I'm sure you've been keeping up. The prop bets are out of control. Is he going to scratch his nose?
Oh, really?
If you're controlling the pitch count, you can have all sorts of prop bets on that.
Yeah. That's so funny.
That's the other thing. They got to keep it secure because those guys are holding bats. I could see a guy turning and just smashing it. Let's get a human out here now.
Yeah.
I always
have to have it in a very heavy cage.
Even with all the gear I wear, I know who holds the baseball bat. So yeah, you want to.
I always find it funny with AI how excited humans are to get rid of the need for humans.
Yeah.
And at what point do we start replacing players, or do we start replacing coaches?
Yeah. Well, I think we've actually replaced a good amount of at least what a coach can do and what a coach what the manager's decision making power is. You see moves by, say, Dave Roberts in the World Series taking out a pitcher after 7 innings where he's dominating. But the numbers, the analytics say take that guy out now and go to your power bullpen. Whereas, it might be the manager's call before to go, no, my guy's going. He's on tonight and I'm going with him. And they're not allowed to make those decisions as much anymore, I believe, because it's, they are told to follow what the book says. What the numbers say to do. And I think with baseball, there is such a human element and there is such an unmeasurable element to baseball that if we get too numbers heavy, it's not going to be good for the game. And I think we're actually seeing that a little bit. And I think that we're going to see this pendulum swing back a little bit too.
Well, as long as I'm going to say it, and again, we'll bleep out what we need to for keeping you employed over at the association, Cameron. But as far as I'm concerned, as long as Manfred is in office as the commissioner, the pendulum will not be swinging in the correct direction. I mean, this is a guy who puts ghost runners on the bases in extra innings. This is a guy who, and it's a. Pardon me while I get off of my outfield lawn right now.
No, you can stay on it.
Launch angle, schmonz angle. I go back to Rod Carew, Pete Rose, and then my high school years were Tony Gwynn. Find the gap, hit it there, and run like hell. Home runs, and I always get it backwards. But I should know my bull term a little bit better. But Crash Davis, I think, said that strikeouts are fascist. I think home runs are fascist. If you're just playing for that big hit, that's no fun. Where's the skill involved? Guys are now being told you have better chances of getting on base not swinging at a pitch at all. That's no fun. As I tell the kids in Little League, your parents paid a lot of money for that baseball bat, or they got a good deal played against sports. Swing it. Have some fun. Get picky when you get on varsity.
Heck yeah. You know, those Dominican guys got it right. When I went over there and played, you know, they're pretty free swingers, and they're known to be, you know, they take hacks. And I said, you know, I was talking to a guy, and he's like, yeah, Poppy, you know, nobody walks off the island.
Thank you.
I like it.
Thank you. Pete Rose was the hit king, not the walk king. No one cares about the walk king.
Nope. You know, I think a better brand of baseball is going to come when we get away from just the power arm, just the power hitter, and building teams around that, and go back to really evaluating smart baseball intellect. And you know, it's a harder thing to judge. It's you know, it takes a baseball mind, you know, to judge that kind of stuff. And it's easy to put a radar gun up and go, oh, this kid's good, you know, because he hits 97 consistently. But baseball is not all about, you know, throwing hard and hitting the ball far. It's there's so much more to it. And the fact that Greg Maddux might not even get a look these days is, you know, I think kind of telling as to where we're at right now. And I hope the pendulum swings back sooner than later.
So on that Maddux note, I'm guessing he's one of the guys that you liked growing up, and or who were some of the people that you looked up to and just were the guys you idolized?
Nolan Ryan was definitely my guy. I mean, he was just incredible. Oral Hershiser, being I grew up in LA, Dodger fan. Oral was what's that?
I said Doyers.
Los Doyers. See, yeah, man. Oral was awesome. So when I got to play for Oral, he was my first big league pitching coach when I made it up with the Rangers, and so that was a dream come true for me. But yeah, Maddux. Obviously, you know, Randy Johnson was just fun to watch because it just wasn't even fair, you know, for those left-handed hitters. And you know, I always remember like that John Kruk, you know, during the All-Star game, he just turned his hat backwards and stood way back in the corner, and he was like, "I'm not even no, I don't want any part of that." But Maddux he's a magician. You know, he did things with the baseball that were almost not real.
The professor for a reason.
Yep.
And what I like, again, going back to the players coming in to get the healing and just what have been some of the success stories that you've had with helping to extend some guys' careers?
So when I was playing, right after I actually got healed myself and went back to playing, I ended up buying my own machines at the end of the year, and I brought them to spring training. And one of our guys, Marco Estrada, he spent almost the entire year in 2010 on the disabled list. He was in between. I think he had a little bit of time in the big leagues, you know, and then his arm would start hurting him again. And so I came into spring training, and he comes up to me. And he's like, "Man, I can't throw but 90 feet right now. Like it hurts. I don't know what's going on. I've rehabbed all off season." And I said, "Hey man, this thing, you know, I bought these machines, and they really helped me. You know, I'm back to 100% now after thinking it was all over last year, you know, and so come on over and let's play some video games and I'll hook you up." And so I just hooked up his shoulder, and we played some Call of Duty, and you know, treated him for maybe like an hour. And the next day he comes like running up to me, and he's like, "Man, I just long tossed at 200 feet." and it didn't hurt. And then the next day he was out at 220, and the next day he was out at 300 feet, and he couldn't believe. And he ended up pitching like 95 innings for us in the big leagues that year, and I don't think he had a shoulder problem after that. And so, like, that was one of the really cool turnarounds. You know, not only did I get to see something really awesome and help somebody, you know, get back to doing what they love, but I helped my team in the same, you know, in the same breath, and helped a key player who went on to have a really awesome career, you know, kind of get his shoulder back.
And I think that, I mean, just works so well with what you think, that all that really ultimately matters in this world is helping, healing, and loving each other. And I think that's great. And that's an awesome success story. And I definitely want to encourage people to check out Kameron Loe's business, Haloe Wellness, and check them out at www.haloe Wellness. That's HOLE wellness.com. And I know I'm looking forward to seeing you out there with the Sav Bananas at some point, Kameron. So thank you once again for joining us here on All Over the Place. And
it was a pleasure being with you guys. Thank you so much.
Oh, our pleasure, absolutely. And we could probably go on baseball talk forever at this, but I'm a little more baseball geeky than the rest of my co-hosts. But I definitely want to thank Marty and Jim and Christine, always making the show so much more awesome. And Cam, thank you for making it awesome with us. And look forward to seeing you down the line out on the baseball field with the Sav Bananas.
Right on. Hey, can I give you one more little plug for the APBPA? Okay.
Our show is your show. Go ahead.
We're doing something really fun right now. We actually just came out with our own bourbon. It's a 99 proof bourbon. And because we are not.
Why didn't you lead with this?
I know. I'm like, how did I leave this out?
It's a different kind of painkiller.
Yeah. It's so these are the labels for the bottles. It's made. I'm sorry. What am I doing here? It's made by 3 Chord, and 3 Chord is owned by Pat Benatar and her husband Neil Giraldo. And so we've made a 99-year anniversary, 99 proof blended bourbon, and it is delicious. I got to be part of the blending process, which was super cool. And so that's Bruce Chen's autograph there on that one. That's Shea Hillenbrand, and then that is Edwin Jackson. And so I'm working on getting all these labels that are going to go on these bottles autographed by guys, and we're going to auction them off so that we can help all players that are that are in need. Oh, and one more thing, if you guys can send support to Hawaii, we've got, I mean, those people need help right now. I've been talking to a couple of the ball players that live out there in Maui, and it's just absolutely devastating what has happened to those people. So any support that you guys can give right now, it's so needed. It's just terrible. So yeah, thank you guys for letting me plug our bourbon.
Hey, well, Christine and I are going to be seeing Pat Benatar at the end of September, so I think we'll want to throw down a couple shots of that bourbon before we go.
Right on. That sounds good. It'll only make it better.
That is 99 truth proof.
Hey,
thanks again, Cameron.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Baseball,
Sponsor the pop, yeah, please.
knees and bourbon. I like this guy.